Going to record about it? Boy,
Got it on right away.
you were quick to hit that trigger, weren't you? Okay, yeah, the type of mold case that would really stand up in court requires a minimum of these things. Number one, you need a good positive mold test. That's not a mold test that's done on an in-home basis where you go to Home Depot and that, no. You need a certified industrial hygienist to go in and test mold. Not only do you test for mold, but you count this, you want a mold spore count, and you also want a DNA testing to see what specific type of species the mold is. Number two, you need substantial medical bills. That means the past medical bills that you've had in the past, present, and future. Number three, you need substantial lost income. If you're only earning $10,000 a year and you lost $5,000 for 1 year and you're done, that's not enough. You need substantial loss of income, past and projected future. And these are the minimums of what you need to have a good mold case to look at. You need substantial medical injuries, not a case of the sniffles, but something significant that debilitates you, that you are basically disabled from this mold. What? Oh yeah. Well, the other thing is, if you're renting from your mother-in-law, you're not going to sue your mother, right? So the person that you would sue, the potential target, would be someone who has deep pockets, whether it's if you're renting from an individual homeowner, most likely their insurance policy will have a mold exclusion, and therefore you probably won't have a deep pocket. But if you're a tenant in a professional apartment complex, yes, they do have mold coverage in these professional apartment complexes. So you're probably in good shape there. Right, and if this happens at work, that's a workers' comp case. Workers' comp case, I don't handle. So if it happens at work, that's not the kind of case we're interested in.
Thank you for.
Oh, and also I can tell you this, that I do know Bobby Kennedy. He endorsed my book. He's on the cover of my book. Bobby and I have talked many times. He's very interested. In his words, mold is a real serious thing. These are words that came out of Robert F. Kennedy's lips to my ears. So he recognizes this. I can tell you that that his family has had personal experience with mold exposure. So he understands it as well.
Well, I've got a story that'll knock his socks off because it includes direct CDC involvement in working to suppress the mold phenomenon.
I'm going to tell him this because that's something right up his alley.
Conspiracies are great when you can prove it.
Yeah, his father was killed by Sirhan Sirhan, and Bobby did his own research, his own investigation, and he came to the conclusion that Sirhan Sirhan was not primarily responsible for his father's death, and he was the only Kennedy in the Kennedy clan that advocated for the release of Sirhan Sirhan, the person who was convicted of murdering his own father. So Bobby Kennedy, walks on his own path. He doesn't follow anybody. He's got a mind of his own, and he's a good guy.
Excellent. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he wrote a book on it. Look him up. Look it up.
To have that kind of an open mind, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's the case against. It's one of his books. I can't remember the name of the book. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with our group before we go for the day?
That's it. Just let me know when you're gonna televise it so I could alert the troops for the next tsunami.
Okay, well, it's proposed to come out Monday, so February
Okay.
6th. Yeah, I'm gonna be editing this weekend and we'll get that out. So just to make sure that you sent 2 papers of information, two pieces of the transcript that you wanted edited, right? Not the other
Yeah,
pieces.
the other's good.
The others are fine. Okay, I just want to make sure that we didn't miss anything because I would hate for something
Right.
bad to happen to her case. So
Is there any way I can get a copy of this to listen to it? Your finished version of it?
yeah. So once it airs, I'll go ahead and well, I guess once I'm finished editing, I'll just send it over to you, the copy. Do you want the
Okay.
transcript as well with it?
Okay.
No, just the sound. Okay, sure. I'll send that over to you.
Well, yeah, I guess if it's not any extra to do the transcript too, what the hell?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have a
I may want to give it to Bobby. So if he says, I want to listen to how can I get him to listen? I mean, can anybody listen to these podcasts at any time? How can they tune in and listen to them?
Yeah, we're on all podcasting hosting sites, so Apple, Spotify, and everywhere where there's a podcast being aired, we are
Okay.
there.
And so so when I search, what do I search for?
Oh, exposing mold. It'll pop up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It was
You're
such a
welcome.
pleasure. And I'll be in touch and we'll follow up.
And I'll let you know what he says. He might be interested.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he would be interested, especially with this conspiracy with the CDC and NIH suppressing the mold illness. Yeah.
Yeah, the primary authors for the 1994 FACUDA chronic fatigue syndrome definition, they had done a study 2 years prior on sick building syndrome in the Sacramento area, the Twin Towers complex, and they concluded that the major risk factor for chronic fatigue syndrome was sick buildings. And yet they went ahead and contrived this new definition saying that there are no risk factors for chronic fatigue syndrome.
So can you send me literature that supports your contention that the CDC and the NIH conspired to suppress mold illness?
I most certainly can. We'll put together a package and send it to you.
Send it to me and I will forward it to Bobby.
Fantastic.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thanks, Alan. I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
stop the recording.